the recordings that you'll do. I remember last semester we kind of talked about how you might start a YouTube channel or something.
Yes.
I don't know if like you're actually going to do that, but I was just sort of wondering where you would put the videos, if they're just going to be like placed in Blackboard or somewhere for us to view.
Yeah, they're going to be there. I would like to start some kind of a YouTube channel, but I just, I looked at some of these guys who do these characters are on YouTube, and they actually, have some good videos about whatever substance they're talking about. It's a full-time job, trying to put together these videos and editing. So that's my hope. But at this point, I'm going to just basically take the raw videos, and there's not going to be a whole lot of editing, and they're just going to get dumped into a Google Drive that is going to be available through the university.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless there's some editing folks out there who can help me with some video editing, make some short films.
I think actually I prefer not to edit it because of that, because I like to have some students have a real experience as a in-class experience. So I like to want them to hear all those jokes and a laugh.
Sure.
Everything.
That's fine.
No, I mean, that is important, because then they got the sense of what the reaction, what the students, their colleagues got from your lecture. So
the main difference this semester for Studio One and Drawing One, at least from all my studios, are going to be that we're just not going to be able to do any field trips and go to, our last field trip last semester was a pretty fun one, and that was in March, first week of March, and then that was it. Everything was over after that. And so that's one thing that I'm going to miss, and I'm sure my students are going to miss, going to different establishments and construction sites and those kinds of things. So we have pictures and Instagram.
I know also a lot of you guys are, 485 class, and I saw that it is in class right now here. That class, I'm going to turn it into the all online class. For that, you see that I'm looking at under the screen here. So actually, I pull it out the class schedule. So I know quite a few are in my class. That one.
What class is that?
485.
Portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then I have one more question about, like, I know it's all up in the air about like the 10 people per class, but like, is that gonna like stay within the class itself? So like, say Studio 3 is from 11 to 150. Is there going to be like 3 different groups like per hour, or how is that going to work? Or is it going to just like be randomly throughout the day? Just as far as like working and stuff, like outside of school. I'm just trying to like plan it all out.
Studio 3?
I mean,
just in general. Just the one in general, anyone that we're like possibly going to be splitting up into like the separate groups of 10, like is it going to stay within that class period, or is it going to be like 3 different classes that are 3 hours, or like?
Probably each faculty are going to run differently, so I don't think we can say as a general. That's what I asked you.
What I would say is university policy is that the classes have to meet during their time parameters unless there is consent of everybody involved.
Right.
Right. Okay. So let's say there are 5 students who all say, we're happy to meet, an hour after that, and the faculty is happy to, they can all mutually agree to do that. But otherwise, if you say, like, I signed up for a class, the class is offered from 2 to 4, that's when I'm available, then the faculty are obligated to meet that.
Okay.
Right.
So if it turns out that more people, want to stay within that band, then can fit in the room at once, either you have to split the time in that room or split the days. So what a lot of the studio faculty are doing is having like one group on Tuesday and one group on Thursday in the normal time block, something like that.
That's most likely what I'm going to end up doing. Is pretty much having my classes during the same time blocks on different days. And so if it's a Tuesday, Thursday class, I'll just meet different groups on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I also see that it's not like every week we're going to meet for the rest of the semester. I see heavy meetings early on in the beginning, like maybe the first 2 or 3 sessions, and then you guys really go to work. And then we see a bunch of meetings in the middle and then a bunch of meetings at the end. So, they're going to be more closer together rather than every week we're going to meet in class. And so once we have some basic, at least in my classes, once we have some basic skill sets attained within the first few lectures and workshops, and then you'd go into working on a design project. And something like that, you can design, draw, sketch, and you can interact on Zoom to showcase the work and get feedback, just like we did last semester. So part of me, I can tell you all I can say right now, and this is kind of what I'm planning on doing, but may change once I meet my group. And I think a lot of what my plan will entail will be a lot of what my group sort of says to me and what their expectations are and how they feel about coming or not coming.
I had a question regarding like the freshmen.
Yes.
So how is this gonna work? Because all of my classes are online. It's like, what are like the books and like the situation, or like the like supplies and that we need? It's like, are you gonna give us a list and then we go buy them out?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're coming in. What class do you have next semester coming up?
I have.
Intro.
Yeah, I have the 115 and then the yeah, I think I have like the intro. Yeah.
Do you have 231 and 251?
I'm trying to look at it right now.
How many design classes do you have? 3 or 2?
I think I have. I have 2, but it said 1. It's like one of them. It's like it was like in to be announced, and so it wasn't like on like my schedule yet. I guess they're just gonna send us out work, and then we do it like that. It's like now it's like we're not gonna do Zoom meetings, and that's what my that's what the older students said that were helping me pick my classes.
What class are you? Do you know the name of the class you registered for? The classes?
I'm trying to find it right now.
Okay, got you. Yeah, but intro class, like intro is going to be all online if you're taking intro to design. And then if you're taking.
I have intro design and then 2D design.
2D design. Okay, so Asa, do you know how 2D is being taught?
The 2Ds are all online now, I believe.
Okay. So 2D is totally online. So you're going to be doing a lot of drawing at home.
Okay. And then is there like a certain like sketchbook and that we like need or like with?
Yeah, your professor is going to give you a syllabus, break everything down, required textbooks, supply list, everything. Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
And I'm going to have to peel off in just a minute. I don't know if anybody has any other questions for me before I run.
I actually did, just really quick.
Yeah.
So just kind of following up, you were mentioning for, I think it was the multimedia class, that there was going to be, those pads, the drawing pads that were available for those students.
Mm-hmm.
I know previously when I was a student within the graphic design department, something that department had available to their students through the library was you would be able to rent out like cameras or other equipment, whether it was digital drawing equipment, that sort of thing. And so just out of curiosity, have you heard anything about whether or not the library would still have equipment like that, kind of similar, I guess, to that drawing equipment, like if we wanted to try and use that for some of our other classes?
As far as I understand it, they still have a technology loaner program. My guess is that the demand on it's going to be much higher than usual, depending on what the equipment is, but you can definitely check with the library about that. I don't think that that's been taken offline. I do understand that the plan for the library itself is to be basically a curbside pickup. If any of you have been getting groceries that way or something.
Yeah.
So you're going to order your books, whatever you need in advance. You show up and they're going to have like a brown paper bag or something with your books in it. Someone will meet you and hand it off to you. So the library is going to be mostly closed to students. I think they're going to have one like quiet study space available inside. I've heard that they were considering doing, because some of the students really do need that. But my guess is that's going to get pretty full pretty fast. So mostly it's going to be, curbside only for the library.
Okay. Well, that's all I had. I know Linda mentioned that she had a few other questions from like a forum page. Is there anything specifically that Asa could answer before he goes from that page?
Yeah, I think there's one. Is this I'm wondering like what if we do like go back to how we are right now? Like if a COVID does become worse, like how would we deal with that, and would we be prepared for that?
Well, all right. So one thing I have pointed out to the faculty, which I'm sure I didn't have to, I'm sure everybody knew this, is I said, everybody should have a backup plan, right? So last time when it happened like this. Nobody was prepared. Nobody expected this, and we were all in the lurch. We've all now been through this once, and everybody in planning out their classes for fall needs to be mindful of the fact that we might get pushed fully online again, out of our control. I mean, the thing is, if the governor's office says campuses are closed, it's not up to us. We don't get to say, no, we think we're fine, right? If they shut us, if the chancellor's office for the CSU system tells us we're closed, we're closed. There's nobody to negotiate with, So I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but we do have to be mindful it's a possibility. And so, yeah, the faculty are all thinking that through. They've all got contingency plans for how to manage if that does happen. And hopefully, in general, for those of you who were here in the spring, it was pretty messy, but that was largely because nobody had any time to plan it. Designing an online class is a very rigorous, time-consuming project. I've done it myself several times. It takes about a full summer to put together one online class. And you got to bear in mind, most of your faculty teach 3 to 4 classes, and they had about a week to get that material online. It's just not feasible. And so everybody did the best they could, but nobody should mistake what we did in spring for quality online education. It was emergency Band-Aid education. And the hope is that having had a whole summer to prepare, people will be in much better shape for fall, and you get a much better experience out of the online classes. And we've been teaching online in the art department for years and years. I've been teaching online for 20 years, and students generally like the classes. So this can be done effectively, and so I would not judge anything by the panicked end of last semester where we just tried our best to get everybody out the door, as it were. I think we will be in much better shape this fall.
Okay, so I have a question too about art history classes. So are all of them just completely online?
Yes, all the art history classes are 100% online.
Okay.
They didn't make the cut of the must be in person. We've been teaching online art history for years and years, and so even though most of our classes weren't, yes, so all art history, basically any lecture or discussion-based class in the entire campus is online only. It is only classes that are reliant on hands-on use of equipment that is only available in studios and labs. That's basically the only stuff that's on campus.
Okay, so since they're all online, do you think if someone were, if I were to double up on an art history class, would that still be, would it be easier, do you think, to do it since it's all online versus if it were in person?
I don't know that I would say that online classes are easier or harder, more time or less time. I mean, you save the time of the commute, but it all depends on the individual class. I mean, many of them will have recorded online lectures you listen to, maybe some simultaneous discussion, some discussion board stuff, maybe more independent reading, more writing. And so it's going to be quite varied class to class. Some classes you may find, oh, this is actually a pretty low load. Others you may find, oh, it's surprisingly higher. So it's really going to be a class by class. I would definitely not suggest for this fall that people think, oh, this would be a great time to take 6 classes. I don't think it is.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. I think, there's going to be a little more shuffling around, a little more confusion than average. And again, on the possibility that suddenly everything goes back online, that will also, you don't want to have to deal with that for 6 classes. So I would recommend not overloading this fall. Anything else I can do for you before I run, everybody?
Yeah, Asa, I just have one question.
Yep.
As far as
Sorry, your volume cut out there. Could you start over?
Yeah, I was just curious. You were talking about, you were in the meeting and they were trying to decide if there were going to be areas that students could access to be actually be on campus. My situation is that I'm coming from Oroville. So in one instance is I have a class online, and then not too much, later I have to be in an in-person class, which I'm actually looking forward to. But I had asked in orientation, even if there's going to be any place that I could actually do an in-person, like an online class